Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Why, hello there. Welcome back.
You are welcome to join us on Patreon. Exclusives going up multiple times, typically every week.
And thank you so much to Joe, our newest Patreon family member.
We couldn't do it without your guys' support. So going onward with the thought that Jupiter is going to be in Gemini, and we're going to have an awful lot of revelations happening. You know, there's going to be clearer communications as to so much that's been transpiring in the shadows for all of our lives and many generations. I want to jump over here. So go back to 1899. Tesla detects unusual space radio signals. His final interview revealed forbidden frequencies, alien blueprints, oh yeah, and warnings for us all. Hours after his death, the FBI seized all. Oh yeah, they certainly did. A 2016 declassified document explains their fears. You know, Tesla, brilliant mind, not just an inventor. He believed he was a channel. He was a channel. Absolutely. That's what he did. It's what Cindy does and what I do in some ways too.
Well, you know, it's usually interesting. Well, it's always interesting, but a lot of times there is some type of an event that happens to people and then they end up channeling. And in my case, it was very interesting. I was taken up into a spaceship. I was reprogrammed and I was put back down. So, I mean, it sounds totally wild and like impossible, but usually there is some type of noted experience in someone's life that moves them into that channeling where they can speak with the Galactic Federation, other aliens, they open themselves up, or it's in the soul contract. And that's what it was in my case. My guides decided, well, it's time for you to go. So here, let's get you ready. And that's what happened with me. And I think something very similar happened with him.
So in 1899, Colorado Springs, Tesla conducted experiments with high-frequency electricity, and something terrifying happened. During one of his tests, his radio equipment picked up strange transmissions, repeating signals, mathematical sequences, not random, not natural. He knew the universe speaks in numbers, but these weren't human-made. In his journal, he wrote, "I am absolutely certain they are not of this world." He even hinted at the number patterns he received. 369 were the key to unlocking energy from other dimensions. Technology would make fossil fuels, nuclear power, obsolete. But the world wasn't ready, or rather the system wasn't ready for what Tesla was about to reveal. In his final interviews before his death, he claimed that he had built a device capable of two-way communication, received blueprints for technologies beyond human capability, and been warned about the Earth's future. He said the beings warned him. Earth's energy systems were unstable. Humanity was facing and racing towards destruction. The only salvation was free energy to all. He tried to share it, but the system silenced him. His free energy tower, Wardenclyffe, was mysteriously defunded. His investors pulled out overnight. Government began monitoring him. He lived his final years in isolation, branded as crazy by those who once celebrated him. It's what the system does, guys. When Tesla refused to weaponize his discoveries, his funding vanished overnight. J.P. Morgan famously said, "If you can't put a meter on it, it's useless to us." On January 7th, 1943, he was found dead in room 3327 of the New Yorker Hotel. Within hours, the FBI broke into his room. They confiscated every paper and notebook. Files were classified as top secret. Why the rush? His notes described a death beam that could destroy armies, energy devices that could alter weapon, frequencies that could control human behavior. In declassified FBI files, agents admitted Tesla's inventions could change the global balance of power, disrupt world economies, threaten national security. Some documents remain missing to this day. Realize, again, when they talk about the global balance of power, they don't mean between nations. They mean between an awakened humanity and the system that's in play in all nations. Tesla once wrote, the present is theirs. The future, for which I really worked, is mine. But the future he saw was too dangerous, not for humanity to handle, for the system to handle, because it would end up taking humanity outside of the control of the system. Some historians claim his ideas inspired secret military projects, including HAARP, mind control experiments, and technologies we still do not fully understand. Why was he erased from history books for decades? Why were his most advanced patents classified? Why did world governments rush to bury free energy research after his death? Many still believe he tapped into forbidden knowledge and paid the ultimate price for it. His legacy, not just electricity, which is again concentrated life force energy, but a haunting reminder. Some truths are too dangerous to be known. Yes, if you are in the business of lies, of which this system is, this dark matrix. If he was right, we're not alone. Free energy exists, and our future, they want to ignore the warnings. Again, drill, baby, drill just leads to more toxicity. It truly, really does, and just leads to the system maintaining control. So when you look at it too, Tesla, believe it or not, in case you haven't heard, the man in charge of confiscating those documents was literally President Trump's uncle. So what did his uncle share with him? Did he share with him knowledge of the ETs, of free energy? What really happened? There are those that believe that President Trump has a time machine, so to speak. There's even been revelations about controlling the space-time continuum that has come out openly. Are they consistently opening wormholes and trying to change the paradigm that's on the planet? Are they trying to shift it for good or for bad? What's really going on here? Are, again, extraterrestrial, interdimensional, and also ultra-terrestrial entities fighting a war of which humanity is just a tiny little piece?
It's really interesting, the concept of a time machine. I think that's a word that they give it to help us understand what it really is. That's the best word that they have, but I don't think it's exactly what we think. When I was outside of my body and outside of this construct, I experienced a time situation where it felt like I was gone for hours, but I was really only gone for 10 minutes. So I think that they can step out. Somehow they step out of this reality. They make adjustments and they come back in and they apply it to the 3D world. I think there's something really weird like that going on.
Well, we each, when we dream, we jump outside of the constraints of the time-space continuum on a regular basis.
Yeah, we do. We go and we process, or we are given information through higher self, but we're no longer in this construct. So I think they know how to do this, and it's just, we just haven't gotten the memo. We're not invited to the party, so we have to figure things out through channeling. So anything that comes through mainstream, I think we really need to keep an eye on and understand that the channeled information coming in these days is bothersome for them. It doesn't help their narrative. Me and you and friends like Wayne, we all help people see outside of the mass illusion, and they don't like that. So, but this is very curious what's going on.
And this is talking also about the whole John Titor thing, which happened on Godlike Forum. Man, I think I joined Godlike back in 92 or 93, somewhere in the early 90s. And I remember when this happened, John Titor began posting on several forums in 2000, 2001, or somebody saying that they are a time traveler from the future, talking about different things that didn't exactly transpire as had been described. But the thing to recognize, too, is as we start tinkering and altering the past, we're definitely changing the future. So is that what's going on with a lot of the Mandela effects too?
I think so. I think there's things going on that we really cannot perceive unless we've been put in the situation to experience it. I do believe they can just step right out of this realm. They make adjustments and they step in and they apply those adjustments. To them, it's like 5D chess. For them, it's a lot of fun. For us, we have to live through every single thing they want to do. So we really should be aware of what's going on around us so we can live the life we want to live, not what they're trying to set us up to live.
Yeah, when you think about, again, as 45 Space Force came into being, is that just a coincidence? When you look at it and think back to the emblem on Star Trek, and then we look at this flag, and it looks like the Star Trek emblem. Are we living a pre-programmed future? That's the question. And I'll give you guys, of course, as always, the links so you can watch these videos at your leisure if you feel like it. A lot of people have gone down this rabbit hole, but then there's people that haven't jumped down this rabbit hole at all, or maybe just a little bit.
And I just want to point out what we're going into with this planetary alignment coming up 13th or the 14th, right in that area with Jupiter moving into Gemini. And keep in mind, Jupiter is all about expansion. It's about wisdom. It's about luck. It has so many good aspects to it. And then Gemini is tied into Mercury, and Gemini used to be known as like the ADD of the zodiac. It was very difficult for Gemini people to function back before we had all of this technology. But now the Geminis, they're kind of coming into their own because there is all this communication and they can do 10 things at once, and they are very extremely talented, and they can run businesses and they can juggle, they can do all the things. So this is the time for Gemini. If you have any Gemini energy going on with you, then this is you. This is your time. This is your time to shine. And for you to just really step into your power and recognize how fun being a Gemini can really be.
Yeah, on a personal note, I grew up in Western astrology thinking I was a double Cancer, but the reality was I'm a double Gemini the whole time. So I love this. I love being so busy, having all sorts of things going at one time. If I just, again, have just one thing going, I would be bored. And yet I can focus. I can cut off and shut down, and that's been part of my training, to be able to focus and just zone in on one thing. But absolutely being a double Gemini, I love this stuff.
He's adjusted really well, but the time where he felt he was a Cancer, Mike is still extremely nurturing. He's still extremely caring. He does have a lot of aspects of Cancer. So a lot of times when people have their Vedic chart read and they realize there's a difference in the zodiac, they might have a zodiac crisis, but then as you start reading and understanding that other zodiac sign, you'll be like, wow. A lot of people, it fits them so much better than the Western. But I don't want to get into what's better, what's good. They blend. I've just noticed people tend to feel more of the Vedic energy than the Western.
And, just instead of doing this as a separate video, I just want to show again how the power brokers, the power players, the rich and the famous in this world, they're there for a reason. How did Jeff Bezos really make his millions? Well, Investopedia, gives you it's an official story. His net worth, again, showing, depending on when you're reading and looking, he could either be the second, third, first at times. Richest person in the world. Oh yeah, how did he do it? Well, again, he was inspired. He liked to read. Oh yeah, sure, and he had an idea, and founded this Amazon thing. Yeah, I had a lot of other holdings as well, real estate, invested in Twitter, etc., etc. Now involved with Blue Origin, again, involved with moving off planet. Isn't that a coincidence? Yeah, graduated from Princeton, yeah. Hedge fund, so-and-so. Raised money in June 1996. from venture capital firm Kleiner Perkins, and then end up going public, and the shares explode. The reality is, it's where you come from and who you know. Lawrence P. Geis, who's this? Well, named Deputy Director of Advanced Research Projects Agency. You add the D and it becomes the DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, of which his grandfather helped found DARPA. So, I mean, again, it's not that he was just an amazing mind that had a great idea. Well, who gave him the idea in the first place? Well, again, the system that is writing all this script out, trying to maintain control. So when you see, you look at Jeffrey Preston Bezos' mother, Jacqueline Bezos, Geis, in reality, was the daughter of Lawrence Preston Geis. He had a fascinating career in the service of the U.S. government again during 4 decades following World War II. Again, deep government involvement. Again, President Trump's uncle just happens to be the guy that confiscates, all of Tesla's work. When you recognize the governments of this world are, in fact, they are ultimately extraterrestrial. They are ultimately extraterrestrials controlling humanity as a resource. When you look to where he got that money, that seed money there, who else is involved with this? Kleiner Perkins, which has funded around 260 companies. Colin Powell. Oh, wow. Well, he's defense, right? Sure, yeah. He was the Secretary of State and, of course, a security advisor, et cetera, et cetera. He was a strategic partner. Oh, Al Gore, the climate guy, another partner. I mean, you see where this is going. It's all one club. Now, again, what's the motivations within that club? That's the bigger picture. Are there any that truly would like to break away from the club or maybe start their own club? Because again, obviously, to be a billionaire, you have to have an awful lot of ego.
And you need to be in the club. So you have to do certain things. You have to be controlled to a certain degree. So I think we just sort of kind of need our own club, really, so that we can do what we want to do. And
then the higher self side of it, because we are now on the ascending path where we're all moving up towards our higher selves, except for, of course, the beings that don't necessarily have higher selves.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Absolutely. As always, we thank you for your support. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.